Hello everyone, my name is Remy. I'm from the eth-docker community and I'm joined by Yorick from eth-docker as well. Hello Yorick,
Hello there. How
how
you
you
doing today,
doing?
Remy? I'm
I'm
doing great.
I'm doing
I'm
great
talking
as
about
well.
Ropsten today.
Yes, we'll have a nice tech demo today with seeing how we can use Robston and test a merge net because if you guys don't know, Robston is going through the merge soon, and you can help with that, and you can try to set up your own node on Robston, and that's what we'll be showing today. So first, let's ask the obvious question: what is Robston? Can you tell us, Yorick?
Sure. Ropsten is an Ethereum testnet. It will be one of the first testnets to go through the Ethereum merge. I think it's the first one that goes through with what you could consider really kind of a mainnet setup, right? So whatever you do on Ropsten now, mainnet will look almost exactly the same.
Because we had a few of these testnets before, right? But they were
We
quite
did.
different.
Yeah, so we had Kiln, which needed a lot more technical ability and sometimes like source builds of things and so on. Very, very experimental still. And then of course we have the mainnet shadow forks and some dev networks that have been going on all along. Ropsten, I would say, is the first that where an existing testnet is being taken. Ropsten has been running for a while. It is now being merged. Robston has been live for over 5 years, if I'm not entirely mistaken.
Yeah, it's been alive for a long while now. But I believe with this next merge, it's gonna be its end of life, right?
This is right. Yes, for all intents and purposes, right? So there's no intent to give Robston the next hard fork after merge. So sometime after merge, we all get withdrawals. Not that we care, right?
Yeah.
Meh, money. Who wants that? If you can run Docker containers. Um, And so it will not get that withdrawal hard fork. Robson, of course, can live on as long as at least one validator is active on it. But yeah, it'll be abandoned after merge.
And so, what's the main differences between like all these testnet and what's going to happen on mainnet, for instance?
That's a really good question, right? Yeah. So um, the testnets, of course, are a lot smaller, but they are still basically a mainnet-ish configuration. Robson is a proof of work network, just like Ethereum mainnet. Sepolia, which is another one that will be merged, is a proof of work network. Gurley, which will be merged, is a proof of authority testnet. After merge, maybe what matters more to our viewers, right? After merge, which testnets are still around? Where can I still be testing? After merge, you will have most likely two testnets. Gurley, the one where you can't get any Gurley ETH, although I believe eth-docker has just found a way to
I
solve that.
think
So
we tried very hard to solve that problem.
yes, with Bright ID, which sounds awesome. Really smart idea to do that. I don't think bots can Bright ID themselves, and if they can, we have bigger problems.
Yes.
So Gurley will still be around. It will be non-permissioned. So anybody can run a Gurley validator. It'll actually merge with what is today Prater. So those will continue on. We expect you will be able to withdraw all your ETH on Prater eventually. So that's great, right? You can just continue the way you have already. If you're already testing on Prater, the Gurley merge is exactly that. It's basically a Gurley and Prater merge. Um, so that's maybe to some extent, that's the closest you could come to mainnet because you already have existing validators on it. Sepolia is a proof of work testnet. It will also be merged. It will be 100% permissioned and will just have a very small permissioned validator set that will be run by the EF.
And so I don't know if you guys have been following the recent news with Robston, but there was many different hiccups. I could say that there was some changes with the dates and when the merge would happen, and like there was a bunch of different changes. Can you tell us a little more about these?
Sure. So if I look at my trusty little calendar here, Robston, the total total terminal difficulty was announced, I think, somewhere around here, right? Monday last week, something like that, maybe a little earlier, maybe on Friday the 20th. I don't remember. Somewhere here, we announced when Ropsten would merge. This is done with something called total terminal difficulty, because it's proof of work. It's kind of hard to say. You can't just say on this block, right? Because that could cause issues. So they just say when the total difficulty over time has reached this value, then we merge. And they calculated something that would happen here, the 8th, or ish, plus minus a day, right? Now, anybody can mine on Ropsten. It's completely permissionless and has a tiny difficulty, as seen, ta-da, here, currently mining on Ropsten with a 20 gigahash difficulty. It was actually 10 last week. So what did somebody do? Some enterprising soul came and said, wow, this is cheap, rented a bunch of hash rate and got through total terminal difficulty, I think sometime Friday or whatever it was, Thursday or Friday they reached it. Before the Ropsten beacon chain, the proof of stake chain, had actually been launched. Oops. So this is great, right? So this allows ACD, all core devs, and EF, Ethereum Foundation, to think about this and go, well, one, could this happen on mainnet? Short answer, no. And then two, what do we do about it? And how, what processes should we have in place, right? What went wrong here? And so they said, well, one, this can't happen on mainnet because you can't just 2x hash rate on mainnet. It's prohibitively expensive. And if you could 51% attack mainnet anyway, and then we have other problems, right?
Yeah.
And then two, what should we do about it? So what they've landed on is one, the beacon chain should probably be live before a TTD is announced. That really only matters for the Ropsten and, well, too late for Ropsten, for the Sepolia testnet, because for Goerli it's already live, for mainnet it's already live, right? And then two, we should probably make sure now that people are used to adjusting the total terminal difficulty, meaning to begin with, a stupidly large number will be used, years into the future potentially. And then as we get closer to the actual merge date, people will be asked to adjust the TTD in their client. That might just be a client update. It might be a manual change, whatever it is. But it means that the tooling has to be ready to do this. And people have to know that this is what is expected of them, right? They're expected to adjust the TTD. So that's what we're doing. First with Ropsten now, and then with the other testnets, and then with mainnet.
Awesome. So why don't we go straight to the point here and try to set up our own Ropsten node?
Before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about timeline.
Sure.
It is now the 31st, right?
Let me go back to your screen. Yep.
Yep. It's now the 31st. Here we are, Tuesday, the 31st. The Ropsten beacon chain went live on Monday. The Bellatrix hard fork, which is when the beacon chain becomes merge ready, is scheduled for, I believe, Friday.
Yep.
And at that point, both the proof of work chain and the proof of stake chain, the beacon chain, are merge ready. And then the merge itself should still happen-ish around Wednesday. And sometime in between here, a new TTD will be communicated and will have to be used by all people who are running on the testnet so that their client actually correctly merges around this time.
That's my understanding as well. And I believe we might have another release of clients, right?
We might have another release of clients that build this in, yes. And also, of course, each client supports an override of the TTD. So, if another release isn't available or people don't want to run the new release, they might be able to just put a new override TTD in and run it that way.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Awesome.
So now we're going to demo this.
Into the heart of our tech demo here.
Right, exactly. I'm going to use my own tooling, eth-docker. It has a merge get ready branch with a merge ready MD explanation of how this works. We can link that in the description later here, this link.
We will do the link, yeah.
Yep. And then, of course, we have the staking launchpad from the Ethereum Foundation itself for Ropsten, where we should be able to deposit, which I actually haven't tried yet. So we'll see how that goes. So first, we need a throwaway ETH address in MetaMask. I say throwaway because as part of this, I'm going to actually use the staking deposit CLI on on an unsecured machine, not air-gapped, etc., etc. So, just best practice, use a throwaway address. I think I have one here. That's my Kintsugi address. That's where it started, and it's currently 1000 Ropsten ETH. So all set. And then fund this address with testnet ETH. Faucets do get hammered. We have the eth-docker Discord, where we can help you get in funds, at least up to a certain point.
Yes.
So we'll do our absolute best. Okay, I'm gonna show this with Linux because that's what I'm familiar with and what I have. Should maybe work on macOS, but I don't have a machine to actually test it there. So some people are successful, others not so much. I'm gonna start with installing Docker Compose. I've actually already done this. I'll just show you what it looks like.
And that's a very simple step if you're used to working with packages on Ubuntu, right?
Yeah, it's just a package install, exactly.
So nothing special there.
Nothing special here at all. If I can remember my sudo password, and this will just run through here. There we are. Everything already the newest version of had already done this, right?
Yep.
Make your user part of the Docker group. I'm actually not going to show this, but that's the same thing. My username is whatever your user is called. This is optional, but it makes it easier because the next commands then don't need sudo, right?
Maybe if you could zoom your browser a little, we could see better.
Sure.
There you go.
How's this?
Yep, much better.
Okay. And now we're going to clone this tool and get into the branch, this merge get ready branch, and play with it. So Git Clone, just explain what it does. We are grabbing eth-docker, we're putting it into a merge ready directory, which you can really call anything you like. You want to change this, do. Then we change into this directory, we get the merge get ready branch, and we check it out, right? So ta-da. This is now grabbing this from GitHub. And we are on the merge get ready branch in the merge ready directory. Again, whatever you want to call this directory, that is entirely up to you. And now we're going to configure this. So we're going to just run eth-docker and configure this thing. All right, we have one choice, Ropsten testnet. These two have not been tested and probably don't work. So we're going to do Ethereum node. So consensus, execution, and validator client. Okay, since this is just for testing and I have another one ready, any particular idea here what you want to run?
If any of those are working, I'd just select a random one.
Okay, random. Do you have a 1d6?
Yes, I have a random app on my phone. Let me try to, maybe it'll be longer to find the app and start it, but there you go. How many clients do we have? We have 5, right?
5. Yep.
All right, so random between 1 and 5, and the result is 4.
4. We're on our run Lone Star. Okay, and random between 1 and 4. What are we running for our execution client?
The app open and do the one between 4, and we add a 1.
Besu. Okay. We actually cannot rapid sync. There's no inferior for Ropsten, so we're going to say no. Grafana dashboards, why not? Nothing wrong with that. Say yes.
Aha. Are you sure there's no checkpoint sync endpoint for Ropsten?
I am not. Let me see.
Maybe Infura has one. Let me just.
Oops, that is not what I wanted.
I mean, we're past that point, but just for.
I don't think they do, but check while you're checking. So when I explain what this is, what is the address you want transaction rewards to be sent to? Okay, this is new, right? This is one of the things that needs to be done for merge by everyone. This is where you can kind of practice this. So after merge, you get your regular rewards as you do now on the beacon chain, and they go to the balance of your validator, and you cannot withdraw them right now. Fine. But you also get something called priority fees. Those are paid out whenever you propose a block, and they get paid out to you directly, immediately into your wallet.
Which is awesome if you want to use those fees right away.
Right, but which is also really scary because depending on the client, one of two things happens if you don't give it that. One, it just doesn't start up. That actually is not too scary. Hopefully you're monitoring detect stat, beacon chain yells at you and you do something about it, right? Or two, there are some clients that actually say, you didn't give us a rewards address. I guess you meant 0x00. And they burn it.
So that's a good segue to, you should definitely put your
Set
own
this
wallet
address.
there.
Oh, hell
right?
yeah. Set this address, right?
Or I'll give you mine if you want to use mine. I'll send you my address and you can use that one too.
Sure. So I'm just gonna use this throwaway Kintsugi kill now Ropsten address here. Yeah. I'm gonna say we're gonna use that one and put that in here. I'm gonna try something and add yada to it and see whether my checking works. Is not a valid eth address. Aha. So we actually had people panic at this point and kind of go, yada, so then the client stopped running, right? They're like, my Lighthouse client no longer works. It says yada is not an eth address. What's going on? So now this thing actually wants you to put in a valid eth address.
That's a good check to do there.
It's a very simple check. I want to say that as well. Please check your own address. It just checks that it starts with 0x is 20 bytes long. Yeah. That's it. So very basic test. Okay. What is the override TTD for the Ropsten network? So we talked about this. This is the default override TTD right now, which will be hit on, I think, in about 350 years. I think that's about right, actually. Something like that. And we're just going to keep this here. But there will be a new override TTD that will be communicated, and that could go in here then. Yeah. Okay. What graffiti? We'll just call this eth-docker. And that's it. And that's grabbing this stuff.
And this part is mostly waiting for eth-docker to build the containers and the images, and then start the clients after that.
And then we're going to start clients. That's right. But before we start clients, we're going to grab ourselves a key, because we want to deposit as well, right? And I actually have one running already, so I'm going to kind of swap back and forth between the two environments.
Sure.
So let's go here, and we're going to say what's next. Okay. Run Docker Compose run deposit CLNU eth1 withdrawal address your test address. So why am I doing eth1 withdrawal address here? You could really do this without. The reason I'm doing it with here is when withdrawals are enabled, this is where it will go, your eth address, right? On Ropsten, of course, withdrawals will not be enabled, so we don't care, but we're planning for other networks, right? We're practicing this. So if this is not set, then you'll have to use your mnemonic and set it at some later date. If it is set, it cannot be changed. Your withdrawals will always go here. And even if someone grabs your mnemonic and steals it from you, they cannot change this. It will always go to you. So I think this is a good idea. So that's why I'm doing it.
It is a good idea, as long as you are in control of that address too.
You absolutely have to verify that you're in control of that address and you got that address right. Yes, because again, you can't change it once it is set. This is true now or later. Okay. You're going to see a mnemonic here, but it's throwaway. We're going to throw it away after. So this is now just the staking deposit CLI, standard as it comes from the team that writes that. You are setting an eth address. Please ensure that I have your control. Absolutely, 100%, right?
Yes.
We want to run one validator, please. And we're going to do a password for it. This is just for the key store itself. And then this is my mnemonic here, which I would now typically write down and keep safe, etc., and not put on YouTube. And I'm going to put that in here, and it is creating my keys. Okay, now these keys are in .eth/validator keys. So this is a hidden directory if you're looking at this through like an Ubuntu desktop. And inside are the deposit data JSON and the key store. All right, see whether my instructions tell me what to do next. Import the keys. Deposit for this key. We're going to do that in a minute. I'm just going to flip around and just first import my keys.
And the orders are not very important there.
The order is not terribly important. It is important maybe that you first have the keys before you start the stack, but you
Yes.
can also start the stack and then stop it again and import the keys. I mean, this is not terribly important, right? So we're going to grab this and we're going to hope that this works. Okay, so what is this, right? Fastify course has been deprecated. This is Lodestar. I can do nothing about that. It just does that. This looks like a small bug in it, but hopefully nothing terrible. So this was the password, and there we go. Not great. Okay, I have an error. This is probably somewhere in my code, so I will fix that. Not sure where the error is, but I'll find it by the time this goes live. Hopefully it's fixed. So this is part of it, right? A lot of this stuff is new as to how it hangs together. And so it is absolutely possible that some of this stuff breaks. This one did.
Which is totally fine. I mean,
which is totally fine. This will get fixed, by the time this goes live. I expect this particular error has been fixed. Okay, good, great. So now we shall be depositing for this. For that, I'll actually use one that I'm actually using and I will be validating for. So I'm going to say become a validator. I'm going to next through this, but if this is real and something like mainnet, please do read this. I understand I need to deposit, and I know how to run a validator, and it needs to be online.
Especially if you're not aware of all those risks.
If you're not aware of all this, by all means, do read this. This is really important. Your mnemonic has to be available to you. If somebody else has it, that's no good. I cannot withdraw until after the merge, actually, up to 6 months or later after, and that this is early adoption and so on. All right, continue. We already set up a node, so we'll just skip through this part. We want one validator. Keeping my key saved, continue, and then we're just going to grab the file. This one, deposit data, and say I'm going to use MetaMask. Hopefully at least the deposit works.
I believe I've had this issue before with the Launchpad where you have to connect or open MetaMask first and the Launchpad doesn't see it and maybe you need to refresh the page.
Okay, so now we're broken with MetaMask, which again, we're not going to troubleshoot right this second. In theory, I would now deposit for this on Launchpad, right? At that point, let me just go into my Ropsten thing and stop things here because they're probably going to be in the way. At that point, assuming that my import actually worked, I'll go and do an SD up. Okay, all this stuff is starting. And now I'm pretty much done. I can take a look at the logs for, say, the consensus client, which is Lodestar here. And I see it's initiating beacon state and so on. It's looking for peers, right? It's doing its thing. And then I can look at the execution client, which is Besu, and it is now syncing the Ropsten chain.
So is that something people that are testing this should be expecting? Like when you look at those logs, what exactly are you looking at?
You're basically looking for how, is this thing syncing? Is it working? It will take a minute, right? When I mean in a minute, I think Besu takes more than a day to sync Ropsten, right? So we see here the pivot block header is 12 million. Because Ropsten has been around for 5 years, this can take a day plus to sync.
So people should assume that it'll take a while and that they just need to wait there until their client
just wait that out for sure. If you see this, for example, right now is searching for peers, right? It needs to find peers. If you see it cannot find peers, then maybe you haven't opened the peer-to-peer ports, right? If you find it's telling you it cannot actually talk, now it started syncing. It'll take it 1.3 hours on the Lodestar side, but this will take much longer, right? If you see errors that the execution chain and consensus chain cannot talk to each other, that's a bug and needs to be fixed, right? Those kind of things.
So the logs there should be quite obvious if you read them, but like if you have any
They should be.
dots or what you're seeing, any errors that you are not sure about, make sure to get in touch with us at the eth-docker community, and we'll try to help you there.
That's exactly it. This is all very experimental still, so do expect bugs either between the clients or just in eth-docker itself, as you saw, and we'll go fix those. The client teams have to fix the client bugs, and we'll go from there. Hopefully this gives you then a good idea of how to get ready for mainnet. Now, I should also say there's one part here that you could do after, as you get ready for mainnet, that we are not currently showing and cannot be testing because it's not ready, and that's called MEV boost. So it's a little bit of an outlook to a future demo. MEV, maximal extractable value, is absolutely something we're interested in. Flashbots has something called MEV boost, which will run in the same kind of environment on your node. We'll talk to relays, get MEV boosted blocks for you to propose and get paid on to the same fee recipient that we showed earlier, that ETH address you control that you put in, that your priority fees go to. And we'll demo that just as soon as it's ready on Kiln. It's not even ready on Kiln yet. Never mind Ropsten.
So when do you expect those to be ready for us to show?
Oh, goodness. I don't know, man. I'm hoping sometime June,
All right.
we'll be ready. Maybe even in 2 weeks.
Maybe tomorrow, right? Because June starts
tomorrow. Oh, yeah. I don't think tomorrow. They're still working on some technical issues, on some interrupt issues between Flashbots and Lighthouse. That all needs to be, the interrupt needs to work, and then we need to run it for a bit and see that it actually works and that the relay works and so on. But yeah, I mean, once it happens, it could be fast. Maybe a week, maybe two. Optimistically.
And we'll make sure to help you guys if you need any help with like setting up all these tools. Like there's a few configs change that you will need to do for the merge, and we will guide you through all of those, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what we're here for. Oh boy. We're not waiting for this. This is probably not going to work.
You want to try the deposit again?
I'm going to try it one more time, but
right.
Probably not is what I'm thinking.
Try like once more and see if the Launchpad wants to cooperate with MetaMask.
We'll see. Maybe I'm also in the wrong browser. I'm in Chrome. That should work though, right? Continue.
Should work.
MetaMask.
There you go.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's a good sign.
Weird. Right. Let's use the Kintsugi one. Connect to Kintsugi. Yes, we do allow that.
There you go.
Continue. Ropsten testnet 1. Understand the risks. I cannot withdraw. I have slashing risks. This transaction is not reversible. My ETH goes into the deposit contract and does not come back out. I know how to check the deposit address. I'm not going to check it now. And deposit once. Yes. Send deposit. We might actually be able to deposit. How exciting. 32 ETH, Robston ETH. There they go. Okay, wonderful. We deposited. I think that's it.
I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for joining us. This was another quick tech video from both of us. Hopefully we'll be able to do this tech demo with like the MEV boost sidecar for the merge as well, because like a bunch of people will be able to do it as well on their own, and it's quite important because like it's free money, so eventually we want to get there and show it to you guys as well.
Ropsten.beaconchain seems to be down as well.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
There's a lot of work still to be done.
There's a lot of these tools that are being worked on right now because this is all being tested, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's the fun of testnet.
Awesome.
That's why we do testnet, so we don't see this on mainnet.
Yeah. Thanks to you guys. Thanks for joining us. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.